Welcome back, degenerates. Those sons of bitches at San Martin got me again. This is one of their newly released models with the turbine dial design, which I wasn't feeling at first, but ultimately it was the case that got me. For me, it's hard to beat a simple steel watch, and when you pair that with crown guards and a brushed finish, it's a done deal. The dial is a bit outspoken, but it's one of those things that made sense once I saw it in person. In the pictures, I felt like the indices were too big and the turbine design was too gimmicky. But in person and on the wrist, seeing all of those elements in a fluid environment was a completely different thing. So yeah, the dial is still a little outspoken, but it works. It's easy to read, it's unique, and most importantly, it's fun. The finishing definitely helps make it easier on me to freaking love this thing. I know that it's hard to believe someone when they say a copycat Chinese company finishes their watches better than many other watch companies, but I don't know what to tell you, man. I recognize quality when I see it, and San Martin has consistently put out an outstanding quality of finishing. And I get it. I get the disbelief and frustration. Trust me, out of anyone you'll ever meet, I probably understand the most the irrational emotional attachment that comes from spending a shit ton of money on a luxury watch, only to be greeted by some horological incel that points out their significantly cheaper copycat homage is just as good. But sometimes you just need to realize that some things are frustrating because they're true. It very well is possible for a copycat Chinese company to make an objectively fantastic product. And being able to acknowledge that doesn't remove the ability to still enjoy other watches. The fact that this watch has incredible lume doesn't make me like my Rolex any less. The fact that it has a toolless, quick adjusting clasp doesn't make me like an Omega any less. The only thing these features do is make me appreciate this watch more, because I think it's infinitely cool that we live in a time where good quality is available across the board. That doesn't mean this watch is perfect. No watch is. But to be clear, all the criticisms I have are minor. The finishing is 10 out of 10, but the edges are a smidge sharper than they need to be. That's me being a bit nitpicky, but it is an area that has room for improvement nonetheless. The case could also probably do with being a bit smaller. It's fine for me, but I have 8-inch wrists. Here are the dimensions, by the way. Overall they're good and nothing you haven't already seen before. I guess the size isn't really a criticism, I just wouldn't be surprised if some of you preferred it being a cunt hair smaller. Everything else is alright in my book. The sapphire crystal is a must-have for me. And the NH35 movement is a family favorite. Sure, it's not winning any innovation competitions, but when we're talking about worry-free, reliable movements, it's perfectly acceptable. The crown is top-notch, both in design and action. It's quite substantial, so it's easy to access, and it's solid all around. The crown guards are there just enough to protect without hindering movement, and all in all, that portion of the watch is outstanding. Nothing to say about the caseback, but I'm going to show it to you anyways. So you're just going to sit there and watch the caseback because, well, just because. All told, with everything combined, the end result is a solid ass watch. Outside of its impeccable quality, I think it's got enough of its own style to not be a direct rip of anything, which is always a good thing. I'm impressed with it. Whether that means anything to you is up to you. I just wish San Martin would stop tempting me with these goddamn watches so I can live in peace. But that's all I got for now. Stay classy. I sure as hell won't.